confirm if the three who are accused in the Nijjar killing were on student visas here in Canada?
I can't.
You cannot?
I can't. There's information I just can't share with you at this time. This is an ongoing police investigation, and those questions reside properly with the RCMP or Minister LeBlanc.
Generally speaking, if someone were on a student visa, would there be criminal record checks?
Yes.
There would be?
Yeah.
And then how does that process work?
You check them, and if they have a criminal record, they don't come in.
Okay. And then, okay.
Do those reports concern you, though?
I can't, obviously, they do, yes. But again, I can't speak to specifics, Olivia.
So you can't confirm or deny if they're on student visas?
No.
And you can't confirm or deny if they were still active or?
That's correct.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay.
Thanks.
What do you think your reaction to the fact that India's foreign minister responded to these arrests by saying they just show that Canada has been lax about who it lets into the country? What do you think of that response? How do you respond?
We're not lax, and the Indian foreign minister is entitled to his opinion.
What do you plan to do about this?
About what the Indian foreign minister said? I'm going to let him speak his mind. It's just not accurate.
And what about these reports? Is there anything the government's going to do to respond to this? I know you say you can't comment because it's
I can't.
RCMP, but like anything, is there anything at all that the government's going to do?
We
about
take
this?
any report like this very seriously.
Are you involved in, is your office involved in the investigation at all, providing information to RCMP?
We always cooperate with the RCMP.
Have you been asked to cooperate in this case?
We're always asked to cooperate, can't speak to specifics.
Okay.
Thanks.
You know, they have equal right and equal responsibility also to think nationally. On the two Khalistan related questions, see what has happened is, to be honest with you, in some countries, these kinds of people have organized themselves politically and become a political lobby. Okay? And in some of these democratic countries, the politicians of those countries are made to believe that if they defer to these people or pander to these people have some ability to get a community to support them. So they have tried to create space for themselves in the politics of these countries. I mean, at this time, I would say, you know, it's not so much a problem in the US. Our biggest problem right now is in Canada. Because in Canada, actually, today the party in power in Canada, other parties in Canada have given these kinds of extremism, separatism, advocates of violence a certain legitimacy in the name of free speech. See, when you tell them something, their answer is, no, we are a democracy, but it is free speech. But the point that they need to understand, this kind of, you know, it's no longer a world which runs as a one-way street. That if there are things which happen out there, there will be pushback. You know, the Newton's law of politics will apply there also. You know, that there will be a reaction. Others will, take steps or counter it. And often, I mean, when I see, for example, these kinds of attacks or threats to our embassies, because they concern me very deeply. And I tell the foreign minister, saying, suppose it happened to you. If it was your diplomat, your embassy, your flag, how would you react? So we have to keep our position strong. You know, on this particular report which has come, I also saw it yesterday night. I was coming to Odisha in the morning. Okay, I mean, somebody may have been arrested, the police may have done some investigation. But the fact is, number of gangland people, number of people with organized crime links from Punjab have been made welcome in Canada. We have been telling Canada, saying, look, these are wanted criminals from India. You have given them visas. They have come, many of them, in false documentation. And yet you allow them to live there. If you decide to import for political purposes people with very dubious, actually very negative background, there will be issues. You know, they have, in some cases, created problems in their own country as a result of their own policies. No, why would we fear? I mean, if something happened there, it is for them to worry about. And the freebie question, you know, I make a very important distinction, and I think that distinction is very much in Prime Minister's mind, to the best of my understanding. You see, if people do not get food, This is not a freebie. You know, people should not be dying of hunger in our country and we say, well, they didn't have the money to buy food or they didn't get access. It's a moral obligation on our part. There is a difference to my mind between providing food, electricity for household consumption,
Law. Assassination of Mr. Hardeep Singh Nijjar has shaken communities across this country. I can recall the fear and anxiety in the days that followed. Fears and anxieties which for many of our constituents has not yet gone away. With that in mind, along with the help of my caucus colleagues, I got working on M112, which I introduced on February 13th, 2024, to ensure that diaspora communities in Canada are protected from the acts of political interference, violence, and intimidation. Our government must review its measures that hold to account any person or agents of a foreign state undermining our democratic institutions, engaging in acts of violence, or violating human rights or international rights in order to bar these persons from entering Canada. I know that